Hello class. So this is going to be a video about the plant life cycle poster and presentation. And I've also included a link to this presentation. So if you want to go back or if you want to be sure about something, you'll be able to later. So the objective for this is you're going to create a poster, a PowerPoint, a video, a song, etc. of your own plant and its life cycle. And you're going to use research like materials like books or websites or anything you can find. And so you can be really creative with this. And each person will submit their work to the teacher virtually, and we'll get to that more later. For research, you can use gather knowledge or information from the previous activities we did earlier in the lesson, like the anchor chart we did of the plant, or the gallery walk where we got to see all the steps in one plant life cycle, or other things, from previous classes. And the discussions we used to build an infographic poster, or like I said, or a presentation, like a skit, or it could be a video, or it could be in person. It's kind of free to your choice. And for your research, you can use books and websites to research and get ideas from. I included some example websites just so you have an idea of what kind of websites we want to be looking for. Like some websites like Wikipedia are good to base ideas off of, like you can get some ideas off of, but sometimes the sources aren't the most reputable or trusted because people can edit those. So these are kind of ones that people like scientists and actual researchers kind of were able to input their knowledge. So sites like those would be good to use. And like I said, I will include this PowerPoint in the class's virtual classroom, so you'll be able to go and see this and click those links later. For the virtual format, so like I said, you can create a poster, a PowerPoint, a video, song, a recorded skit or play, you can do it in person, or like a live video, etc. of your own plant and its life cycle. And you can do any of these or another format, but it has to be able to be submitted virtually, or if we're able to figure out a live version, then we can do that too. So for the presentation, so what you guys are going to do is you're each going to pick one plant, not one we did in class, but a different plant, so any plant you want, and you're going to research that plant's life cycle. And you're going to put the stages of it. So like we did with our anchor chart, we did all of stages of that plant. You're going to find that with your own. They might be very similar or even the same, but you need to describe how it's different with that specific plant. And then you have to include and using vocabulary in your presentation. So the vocabulary words we'd like you to use are birth, growth, reproduction, death, germination, seeds, stems and roots, leaves, flowers, and pollination. So if you include those in yours, if for some reason your plant doesn't, let's say your plant doesn't do pollination but does something else, then you can try to include that word too. And in your presentation, you have to include how your plant that you chose life cycle relates to the plants discussed in class already, either one or both, or however many we discussed in class. So you can relate to the one we did with the anchor chart or one from the gallery walk. It's your choice. And then, so I will include the link for this, but with this, you will see the rubric for this presentation, and it kind of details. So I will click it, so we will go to it, so I can show you real quick. So it's in our Google Classroom, so you're able to access it. Click the docs, and it will open. Just loading. So plant life cycle presentation rubric. So it's making sure you include the stages. Like I said, your plant may have less than some other plants or might have more. So just making sure you're including all the stages your plant includes. Doing research and explanation. Make sure when you're presenting, you have evidence that you research and you the plant. Vocabulary, making sure you're including all those vocabulary words or the ones that apply to your plant. The presentation, making sure we can clearly hear you. You're confident what you're saying, you researched it, you know what you're talking about. And then visual appearance and organization, making sure your presentation, however you choose to do it, either live, a video, a skit, a PowerPoint, however, make sure it's visually appealing and it's organized in a thoughtful manner. So we'll go back. And then, there we go, example presentation poster. So if, let's say you did a poster, so you wouldn't do the sunflower since it's already here as an example. Let's see, like this is a pretty, explanatory, clear picture of the cycle. And then, but in your presentation, you'd have to include more detail, like how and why it goes through the cycle. So this is a good poster though example. And on YouTube, I included a link to a video that this one's a pretty long video, so yours does not have to be that long, but it's just a good example of someone giving an example about a plant's life cycle. So you will have to submit your completed presentations here. I also include this link in our Google Classroom, so that link will be there too. And then thank you guys. We cannot wait to read and watch and enjoy all of your presentations. And I hope you guys get really, really creative with these, and we are excited to watch them.